Well, moving on, let's bring on board the management of Netmagic. Sharad Sanghi, the MD and CEO of Netmagic, joins us now on the show to talk about the India opportunity and why Netmagic is so bullish on India and what does the future of data consumption look like. Mr. Sanghi, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. So as we understand, NTT plans to invest a good $2 billion in India. How big is this opportunity, this India opportunity for the company, and what makes you so bullish on the nation?
India is a key market for NTT. It's the fastest growing market for NTT worldwide, with our CAGR being of north of 30%. The data center market itself is growing at over 23% year on year. And so therefore it becomes very, very attractive for NTT. In addition to the data center growth, there's also a huge opportunity for NTT because we recently acquired our international long distance license to set up undersea cable infrastructure in the country because there's huge growth in data. It is estimated by IDC that the data that is in 2018, there was 33 zettabytes. 1 zettabyte is 10 raised to 21 bytes of data created in the world. And this is going to grow more than 5 times to more than 175 zettabytes in 2025. So that's the kind of growth that we're seeing in data creation and consumption. Because of that, in India becomes a very key market for NTT worldwide.
So which cities or states do you plan to invest in, and will the entire investment amount be upfront?
We are currently present in 4 markets in India. We are present in Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, and the NCR region in Noida. We have procured land in all these markets to set up data center parks. In addition to these markets, we are also looking at some of the newer markets like Pune, Calcutta, and possibly Hyderabad. So these are things that we are currently exploring. So there's a huge potential for growth for us in the country. And not to mention, in addition to that, we're also setting up our undersea cable infrastructure, which will have landing stations in both Chennai and Mumbai, and possibly maybe even Calcutta. In addition to that, we are also looking at setting up solar plants and renewable energy plants, hybrid wind and solar plants in almost all the markets that we operate in.
More companies are adopting the cloud-based approach. Future of data consumption and trends in data consumption, how do you see companies adopting to these changes?
The data creation is going at an unprecedented pace. 33 zettabytes in 2018 going to 175 zettabytes in 2025. In addition to that, right, there is also policies like data localization, etc., that are likely to come, right? With the Data Localization, Privacy Act coming into force very soon, a lot of this data that is created will have, which is sensitive and critical, will have to be hosted in India. And therefore, I see a huge, and all this data which gets created and consumed in India will have to be stored in data centers. And therefore, there is a huge opportunity that we see. In the pandemic, we've also seen an acceleration of data growth. So in addition to data localization, which is one of the accelerators, even the pandemic has helped in accelerating growth. We've seen trends of data consumption and bandwidth increases anywhere in the range of 15 to 20% during the pandemic. And therefore, we see that this is, in addition to this, we see other trends. Obviously, cloud computing has become mainstream. And we see a lot of organizations, enterprises adopting hybrid cloud. And in fact, they're adopting what we call as hybrid multi-cloud because they work with more than one cloud. And so there are these opportunities that NTT is looking to tap. In fact, one of the things that we've done is we've created a cross-cloud management platform called Solution Insight, which allows us to manage, monitor, and govern multiple clouds by providing the customers a single pane of glass.
So, as things change, even trends in the markets change. What are the 3 or 4 key trends that you are observing, and how is the company positioning itself to actually benefit from that?
Looking to invest in several areas. One is, and obviously in data centers is going to be where our bulk of the investments are. In addition to that, we're looking to invest in undersea cable and renewable power plants. We also believe India is a key services sector for NTT worldwide. So not only are we looking at providing managed services to our clients in India, but India becomes like a center of excellence for NTT worldwide for global managed services. So managing cloud infrastructure for clients across the world. And therefore, there is going to be significant investment by NTT even in that space.
All right. Let's now talk about competition. There is competition in this segment with investments as well coming from the Adani Group, from Hiranandani. Is there space for more players, or do you see consolidation in the space over time?
Look, we've been operating in this market for the last 20 years, and we're the largest player in this space. The rate at which the market is growing, I'm pretty sure that there's room for multiple players. And there are already multiple players in the market, but there are at least 7 or 8 new players who announced the intent to set up services in the country, including the names that you mentioned. And we believe that in the short term, there will be a little bit of pricing pressure, because obviously when you have huge competition, there will be some pricing pressure. But we believe the market is large enough for at least 5 or 6 players in the long run, and post that there will be consolidation.
And what about acquisitions? Would that be a part of the strategy? Any opportunities that you're eyeing?
So actually, NTT is looking at acquisition more opportunistically than strategically. So it's not part of our plan that we will look at growing through M&A alone. We are happy to grow organically because we believe we have the best skills in this space in the country. However, as I said, there's likely to be consolidation, and if there's good infrastructure available to us at a good price, we'll certainly be open to looking at acquisition as well in the future. But that's not part of our strategy as of now.
How do you see the regulatory environment, sir, for the NTT companies to invest in India? Is there a need for easier regulations going ahead?
So unlike the telecom sector, the data center sector is pretty straightforward. And not only is it straightforward for people to invest in the country in the data center space, but in fact, the government has actually announced, not only at the center, in the budget speech, the finance minister announced that they're soon going to come up with a policy for data center parks. But also, even in each of the states that we operate in, there are IT policies that are promoting data centers. So I think the government has played a very crucial and enabling role. I think where it could improve is the number of permissions that are required, right from consent to operate to environmental clearance, etc. So it takes almost 6 to 9 months to get all the clearances before we can set up. And if this can be simplified, maybe I know the popular term is called single window, but if this could be kind of compressed, this entire time frame could be compressed, then that would allow us to build data centers faster and meet the growing needs much faster. But I think from a regulatory perspective, I just hope it doesn't go the telecom sector way, where with too much regulation, the sector actually suffered a lot. I just hope that there is no regulation by any of the government regulators on either cloud or data centers in the near future, or even in the forever.
Right, so on that note, thanks so much for taking out time for us, completely out of time. Otherwise, we would have liked to continue this discussion. Taking a break, coming back quickly, stay tuned. Markets about 350 points higher for the Sensex, close to 100 points higher for the Nifty. Still about numbers from Bajaj Finance, Ultratech still awaited in this market.